Who still have some business to take care of this weekend. They host the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. It will be a matchup between two former Pac-12 coaches in Philadelphia's Chip Kelly and Seattle's Pete Carroll. So who wins this matchup? Stephen A?
Skip Bayless. I'm rolling with the Seahawks to win this game. I think the Seahawks are going to beat Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. I really do. Obviously, they're going to play a lot of man coverage. I think outside of Jeremy Maclin, the rest of their receivers are going to have a problem with Seattle. With Seattle's secondary, with their speed, with their ability to get to the quarterback, which is going to make it a rough day for Mark Sanchez. Obviously, Shady McCoy, even though he's been playing very, very well, he's got another 1,000-yard season under his belt. I think he's going to have a rough afternoon. Darren Sproles could be the X factor. I'm not saying they're going to get blown out. I think it could be very, very interesting. But I think the combination of what we've seen from Seattle over the last couple of weeks, the fact that their defense appears to be getting their mojo back, combine that with the fact that I think that the Eagles, unlike Tony Romo and the Cowboys, I look at the Eagles secondary against Seattle and Russell Wilson, I think it's going to cause some problems. I think Russell Wilson is going to be able to scramble out of the pocket. I think he's going to be able to make things happen with his legs and his feet. And I think as a result, that's going to put Seattle in a position to make some noise. I think the combination of that, along with their defense getting at least one touchdown off of Mark Sanchez, I'm going to pick Seattle to win this game 23-21.
I sure hope you're right about that, because I have suddenly become the world's biggest Seahawks supporter. I love me some Richard Sherman, especially this Sunday in Philadelphia. And Stephen A. Smith, I'm going to remind you once more that the Eagles you have picked to win the NFC East are now quarterbacked by the ultimate accident waiting to happen. Mark Sanchez, who faces the NFL's #1 ranked defense in yards allowed, the defense that causes the most accidents among opposing quarterbacks. So I'm going to guess that Mark Sanchez this Sunday is going to meet his match. It's not the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a lot tougher. I see Richard Sherman on Maclin, and you said Maclin might have a pretty good day. I'm pretty sure he's going to line up to Richard's side time and time again, because he usually does. So I think Maclin's going to have a tough day. Maybe some of the other receivers, I agree with you, Sproles is always the X factor. Maybe some of the other tight ends, I don't know, maybe they'll flip some balls to Shady, and they'll be X factors. But I don't think Jeremy Maclin will beat these Seahawks.
Well,
go ahead.
I wasn't trying to say that Jeremy Maclin would have a good day. What I was saying is that with Seattle getting in your face and usually playing man-to-man, at least most of the time, I think Jeremy Maclin is the one individual that can handle that kind of coverage against Seattle, at least to some degree, whereas the Riley Coopers of the world and others, I'm not so sold on. That's all I'm trying to say. But if Richard Sherman is obviously sticking Maclin, Macklin's not going to have, I don't think he'll have a bad day. He'll have some good moments, but for the most part, I think he'll be held in check.
And I think that Mark Sanchez will maybe try a little too hard to impress a coach that he ended a little badly with at USC, and Pete Carroll. Obviously, Pete Carroll publicly asked him to stay. Mark went. Good for Mark. He got his money. But I'm looking for Mark Sanchez to be worth about 2 interceptions and 1 sack fumble in this game. And I'm looking for Russell Wilson and Beast Mode to continue to run their read option that they're starting to run very successfully and continue to score points at pretty much the same clip they just did against their 2 division rivals, which they did in, as you know, Arizona and San Francisco, is 19-3. Now, I'm going to give the Eagles a few more points than 3. I might even give them 17. But I truly believe that with some help from those 3 turnovers, that Seattle can score 24 at Philadelphia. So I'm in your ballpark. I'm going to go 24-17 Seahawks. They're not quite as good as they were last year, but they have come back together, and they're starting to look like they're getting on a Super Bowl kind of roll here, and I think it continues.
This truly is a pick'em game, Skip, because based on what we've been seeing from Philadelphia's defense in recent weeks, they could cause some problems for Seattle. If they're able to hold beast mode and check Marshawn Lynch, it can change the dynamic of this game. There's no doubt. I mean, this could go either way. It's a tough call And I think that this game kind of helps the Eagles to some degree because Skip Bayless, if this was some no name, if this was Jacksonville or Tampa or somebody like that, the Eagles would be in danger of looking past them in favor of looking forward to the Dallas Cowboys matchup the following week. But because this is the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, the Eagles are not going to look past them at all. They'll be ready for this game. I just think that with Mark Sanchez back there, I can't imagine a backup quarterback, which is what Mark Sanchez is, if we're being real about it. I can't imagine a backup quarterback going up against Seattle's defense, playing the way they've been playing and finding a way to win this game. It's hard for me to imagine.
My biggest question is, will you attend this game?
I think I'm going, Skip. I plan on going to the game.
Oh, great, because that means it counts. Because if you don't go, they don't count. So
well, that's usually with basketball.
To count in the standings.
That's usually with basketball. With football, not so much because I like my TV set. But you are right. When it comes to the basketball game, the party starts when I arrive. I'll admit that.
That's right.
I'll admit that.
The party always follows you guys. All right, so the Seattle Seahawks will be going for their third straight win. Both of you guys chose Seattle. Stephen A. says the Seahawks will win 23-21, and Skip is going with the Seahawks 20.